Uh, Reimbursables is a lot of miscellaneous things important, but not the what is in the contract for the architect is all his visits and supervision of the project. That's not in here, but there'd be production of drawings. People still use paper, mailings, and that type of a thing. Owner's contingency budget, sizable amount of money. Well, if we get into something where we want to change the scope, or we get into a foundation for the stairwell and find out that there's some unknowns, there certainly can't be part of the contractor's responsibility until he opens it up. That's what that covers. We have to have something in there, because if there's something wrong with the existing foundation out here in the basement, then that we have to do that. And there might be something that comes up, but I'm saying, that could be that's a possibility to be reduced as we get closer to the project.
I mean, what really, the thing that keeps me up at night before we even start is what's going to be at the bottom of that stairwell potentially. Stuff like that may change or may make us think differently about the project. Now, you look at this number and you probably think, wow, they put in everything in the kitchen sink. We did cut out some things. In the original drawings, if you were in early visions, one of the things he put in that I loved, but was expensive, were solar tubes. They were really cool. They brought light from the ceiling all the way down into the basement. That was neat. It was also expensive.
And the reason, well, they were expensive. However, they didn't work very well. We looked into that. And if you talk to guys, and it came down, there was no real good place for them. People are going to be knocking into them. It was
more of a vision than a reality.
Bad practical use. It sounded great.
I was also really excited about that third floor cigar lounge. That seemed awesome. The youth really loved it. They said, oh, that's a youth room. And we said, oh, no, it isn't. Last thing I want are kids up on the roof with no supervision. But again, challenging, expensive.
Lock them in the library.
Maybe there are other ways we can handle that. Our architect, bless his heart, also, and give Berkeley some credit here for this. Our architect said, and I want to make us a LEED certified building. And I said, we can be a nice building without the magic stamp. And that saves us considerable money in that. Our architect is a green architect. His preference is to use green materials, which I think is very fitting with who we are as a church. You'll notice that with things like his green outdoor wall, which I think is actually a really more lovely piece than a giant brick edifice. If you turn something like a stairwell into a beautiful living creature.
I don't know, what is it though?
Yeah, he told us. He actually gave us pictures. You can check this out. He gave us pictures of a community center he put in Chicago that he put a green wall into interiorly.
Yeah.
And the city fought him about it. They thought it was really expensive and not that useful. And now that there are people using it, it's everybody's favorite thing. People come and have their wedding pictures taken in front of the wall. Instead of just being a wall, it's now something that brings life. Originally, my team tried to take away my water wall, and I made them put it back. Because I think if we do a project like this and it has no heart, it's no fun.
I have a question about that, since we're going to get to questions.
Yeah.
We're running out of time.
Yeah, I know. Let's see.
If you go on to LaGrange Hospital and ask them why they don't use their water wall, or Hinsdale, and ask them why they don't use their multi-$100,000 water feature anymore, that they paid all those money.
I know. I've mentioned this to him too.
I'd be curious to know why.
Yeah, are there water walls that are there ways that we can use it that don't run into those kinds of problems?
Kids touch it and it breaks.
Kids give you water all over your carpeting, or whatever you kind of flooring you put there, because that's, people were sticking their hands in this one,
A mold issue? Well, we will have to look into all those things before we actually.
So don't get too.
Why are you so mean?
It's my role.
Yeah, Don.
What is the architect's fee? Is it a percentage of the total budget, and does it include construction management? In other words, is he overseeing the bidding, the opening of bids, and the construction management for a set fee.
Do you want to answer that, Tom, or do you want me to?
Go ahead then.
Well, the number that's in there, Don, at this point, we used a percentage of each one of those. At this point, the council, those that have fiduciary responsibility will work on that. It's not, there is no contract with the architect yet. It could be percentage, it could also be, when the plans are made, that the architect decides what his costs are, and we have a fixed price. And so, we're not going to have, whether either way it goes, we're not going to have any trouble with this project of people, the architect and the contractor, putting more in to raise their price. It'll be within the range either way as contracted. But the fees are in here, and they typically, not typically, but the contract will include schematic design that we'll have a chance to look at and firm up some prices. The next step is to take those that we approve for scope into a design development set of drawings that has specifications with it. And that's the first set of drawings. You can really get some good prices on it. Really solid prices from either estimators or general contractors. Once that's finished and we approve it or disapprove it and make changes, it goes into the final contract drawings. And that's what the bids will be received with. And then the supervision will also be in the architect's
Supervision being construction management.
Well, he won't manage the job, the contractor will manage the job, but he will approve all the financial draws. He will inspect the job. He will not provide inspection services. And that maybe will be part of the owner's contingency budget. Maybe we want to have a professional testing company, for instance, certainly out here with and put that in the budget so that we have an extra set of tests and inspection. The architect will not do that. General, he'll approve the contract, approve the draw each month, that yes, this percentage of this particular part is done, it's worth $13,000, and he'll sign off on it. But so he will see the project all the way through, particularly approving all the pay requests.
Kathy Selke's got a question.
I didn't raise my hand for a long time, but I understand, it's great and I love it. The only thing that really kind of concerns me, and I'm not a good person looking at maps or blueprints, please believe me. I'm sure everything was done for a reason, and even Patrick Katie, you talked to me about this. I don't quite understand what the purpose is of making all of these spaces open spaces, like, okay, we're going to take the library and an office away and make it more of a place to go. We're going to keep this, we're going to do that downstairs, and then we're going to have a chapel to go into. And then what's happening to office space is kind of my concern, and what was the reason to have so many of these kind of carriage rooms that we already have?
The reason is
I know there's a reason, I'm not trying
I
to...
can talk a little bit about use of space.
Office space bothers me.
I once asked Sue Grumke this, where we used to have coffee hour back in the day. The church used to have even more people in worship, and I couldn't imagine how everybody fit in that hallway. How did we do coffee hour? And Sue, if I remember right, you can correct me if I'm wrong, you said, oh, we used to use half of the parish room. And I was like, half of the parish room? For even more people? In the summer, no, Ron says, where do we have coffee hour?
It's always out there, I think.
We used to put this across the and that is true. Yeah, we had it here sometimes, but I mean, so is that...
But in any case, I was like, how did we cram all those people in there? That would have felt very crowded and uncomfortable. We've had coffee hour in here during the summer, and the Krull family, the Krulls are on this committee. You know who the Krulls are? They're these really big, tall German people. There's lots of them. There's 6 of the family. And Karen says, once my family's in this room, I think we pretty much fill it up. But that's a modern perspective. It used to be that they measured how many people you could fit in your pews by 12-inch slots. Imagine we tried to fill that many people in our pews today. We just divided our pew up in 12
It's like running an
inches.
airline, yeah.
It's like running an airline, right?
Airline's 17 inches.
Now, in some church contexts, they say that people are comfortable with as much as 36 inches with what used to be 12. I think our sense of what space we need to be comfortable and not crowded has changed. I also think that it becomes an issue, it probably was before, although I don't know how we did it, where you've got elderly people trying not to get knocked down and small children trying to do the knocking. And how do we negotiate all that in the same place? The idea of opening up the gathering room and opening up the library is to provide more space, for more time, for more conversation. What we say over and over again is it's important for people to engage with each other if we're going to build a community. We need public space where people can meet with each other if we're going to be able to be church in the world. Now, as Art pointed out, the way these spaces are designed, they can still be closed off. We could have a Sunday school classroom in what's currently the gathering room at a former office. That could be a really useful use of that space. Maybe that becomes where the middle school or high school class is in the future with the coffee bar. I think they could be all over that. But those are some options. In terms of office flexibility, I've been pastor here and in Berkeley. And in Berkeley, you might imagine, space is at a premium. I had a colleague in a church that they had, I think, 5 people at desks. Some of them were from other agencies, in a space roughly this big. Maybe a little smaller. It was probably about half the room. Pastor had some of it, the other half. They had cubicles. Well, it allowed people to work together. If they needed private space, they could go find a private space in the church building. But devoting a giant room to a few filing cabinets and a few chairs for 3 to 4 days a week when they're not out and about in the field seems like not the best use of our space, particularly the premium space on the first floor. Now, bless their hearts, I kept trying to get the architect and the committee to take away my office, to give me an office somewhere in a back corner. They insisted, no, you need to stay there. I guess they figure that's the only sunshine I get is through that window. And I'm glad for that. But quite frankly, it's a lot of office for what I personally need to do my job. Better desks, better equipment can make a big difference. Even church pastors' libraries are getting smaller. My library sometimes fits really well in my Kindle. That's how I went to Germany. I had all of the Luther's works I needed there. I didn't need a shelf's worth of them to do my work. It's changed, yes, Sue.
Am I understanding correctly regarding Candy's concerns, though, that on the lower level, Marcus's office will be 2 offices?
Or at least
from opening up the music room as an office?
potentially. What they did was he divided Marcus's office into 2 sections and put one aside for storage and one remained an office. So what would happen to the music library, whether that would become a dedicated office space or whether that would remain music storage, we'd have to figure that out. As the architects have always told us, when you bump one thing, you got to figure out where you bump it to. So
I kind of feel for the youth. I mean, to call that a youth room with file cabinets and 2 desks and stuff in it, you know.
What are you talking about?
which one?
That's not any.
No, she's talking about how we have 2 desks within the current youth room.
Right now, it doesn't, we call it a youth room, but really it's.
Well, Sue, I'll be frank with you. I cannot remember the last time. I can't actually. I can tell you the last time I had a youth group in that room, a true high school youth group. It was when the architect came to talk to the youth.
So they don't use it as a
No,
youth room?
they don't. The youth, as much as we are, this is a struggle for churches in this area. All churches in this area want to have youth groups, including the youth and the parents of youth, want to have youth groups that the youth never go to. They want you to have events that they don't have to do because they are overscheduled, overbooked, and too busy. So we have Feed My Starving Children today. It is the day, or Feed My Starving Children, we have a meal making event. We saved a whole section for youth. It is the day after Central's prom, but honestly, how many seniors do we really have? And yet people have softball, soccer, homework. This is busy. We are not in the era anymore where I just say, come to a meeting and they come. When I can find a place for youth to be engaged in the church, that works really well. but it doesn't happen in a room separated out for itself.
So the name that we're using for that is not.
Maybe not accurate. It's really the use it gets for youth is the middle school Sunday school room. And the interesting thing, when the youth met with the architect, he said, well, what would you like me to do? Would you like me to beef this up and make you a lounge? Do you want a fabulous video system or something like that? And what the youth said was, that coffee bar on the first level, I like that.
No,
So that's what they said to us.
Lounge,
They said
okay.
they would sooner
Yeah.
hang out there at meetings.
And where's the coffee bar?
It's in the gathering room.
In the, it's the big.
The one that we're gonna
Right,
take over.
so they
now.
would take and put a coffee bar along one of where the bookshelves are kept on the wall.
Yeah, I think we,
Yeah, question, Michael.
Yeah, Barbara, we talked about the narthex and raising the ceiling,
Yeah.
but you're effectively then moving the organ up as well, right?
No, it looks like there's some empty space there.
Looks like or there is.
That's.
It has to be investigated, Michael.
We can play into it.
Yeah, we can't move the organ up, right?
Right, so Michael, if we discover that it would require moving the ordinance to touch the ceiling, we would touch it.
And then explain to me the rationale behind why are we leveling the outside patio? I don't understand what the benefit is there.
The benefit is,
It's to make the entire patio wheelchair accessible. Because otherwise, you have to go down those 2 stairs from 3 stairs. If the patio is level, we can ramp all the way up into it. And then that makes all of the doors. It gets a little tricky with doors. This would be the main entrance as it is now. But because of the way this stairwell works, we would eliminate this door. You kind of have to. There would be a door here, but you'd have to go through 2 doors to get in. If we make this flat, the wheelchair can come straight in. The other thing the architect pointed out to us is it's good to have a wheelchair entrance at the same place where the main stair entrance is. You know this if you've pushed around the stroller. You're looking for how to get into the church, you look for the stairs. That's where you go. The other option is to put the ramp out this way, but that would be pretty far removed from where people would think of entrance.
Doesn't that also create a gathering space out there too?
That would be our hope, is that coffee hour could move out here too. All of our architects have looked at the space and said, that's an awesome space that you don't use. Now, there are things about the stairwell, we will love the stairs, we will hate the doors. I already know this. That's code, I can't do anything about it. Where this is currently open and you can just walk up and down, we would now have big doors. You have to, that's the rule for fire codes. And I will point out that I am sure there was thought process to replacing those stairs when you redid this part of the building in the 80s. I'm sure that must have been on somebody's map, because they're such terrible stairs. Somebody must have thought when they put on the parish room, we should redo that stairwell from the balcony to the basement, and they didn't do it. I don't know why. Was it terribly expensive? Was there a lot of water down there? The city wouldn't zone it.
Village might not let you do the ramp either.
Well, one of the things that we were told by our architect was that if we are improving the way to get places, generally speaking, the city is good with it. If we were to do lesser things, like, for example, he said, if we were just to to level out the balcony to make it more accessible to people, the city might get on our case.
One,
Ron's got a question.
just one editorial comment. Our historian and archivist, Ralph Holman, has a brief comment.
Yes.
And I say that with great affection.
I want everyone to know that this meeting and last week's meeting will be on YouTube. It's a total of now about 120 minutes. So anybody that wants to review anything, it'll be on YouTube. Just search under my name. Go to YouTube and Ralph Holman, and you'll find it.
Thank you.
thank you.
More questions?
Can I get a quick, can I go to the opposite end of the church where you started at the west end and ask, right now, when you come in with your car to go under the covering,
Yes.
you can get in, if somebody's parked at the curb, let people out, you can get by in a second car. You're still gonna be able to get past with a second car.
Yes, we're not changing anything. We're going to enhance
Sure
it.
there's enough space.
Yes.
You can move up so many feet.
Yes, yes. Everybody loves it, we're not going to touch it. Ron?
Well, I kind of echo Kathy's concern about office space too, although Dr. Katie is not too concerned about space. If we had a second pastor or second significant staff person, they may not want to be relegated to the basement. That was one comment. Because some people would like a nice office. I think in the drawings, you took away the media room. You know, one thing that we had done, the sound system and the organ, and one thing that never got done was the video system. All of the cables from the, go down to the media room, and I think that's a good place if we ever started to record special services, weddings, baptisms. That's a good location